What is up, everybody? Treadmill talk time. So these past few weeks, I've had a lot going on in my head. I mean, this is stuff that I'm actually really thinking about writing a book about that as well. But I had a conversation with Evan Carmichael in one of the interviews. I actually put it on my YouTube channel, and I appreciate him taking the time to answer those questions. Very humble guy, very respectful guy, and his answers were amazing. And one that really just kind of struck me was, I asked him about what his purpose was, why he had his purpose. And he explains that your purpose comes from your pain. And I talk to people about this all the time. I just never quite said it that way. It's very clairvoyant. Because the truth of the matter is, I'm a big believer in that. Like, your purpose really starts showing up when you feel true pain. Like, once you feel that, it's like a light hits and everything becomes clear. And so I talk to people about the way cancer is going to get figured out, for instance. Cancer's not going to be figured out in a lab with scientists or doctors in white coats. It's really going to get figured out by that individual who either wants to get the cancer out so bad because A, they have it themselves, or B, they have a family member that has it. Because there's nothing more intense than an individual who wants to will things to happen. And you don't will things until you get into a lot of pain. Myself, when I started training as an athlete, or actually before then, I would get bullied. I had a man leave me at a young age, and I was a kid in some pain. Definitely a kid in some pain, and trying to figure it out. And like I said, for those who know my story a little bit, I had another man replace him. Couldn't have asked for a better replacement. And he taught me. He was a very wise man, and still continues to be a very wise man. So many life lessons that he would instill in me. And the truth of the matter is, I had to make my way. He taught me that I had to make my way. No one else was going to make it for me. But dealing with the pain that I dealt with, it was like I created something stronger than it. To the point, I actually embrace pain. I really do. Because pain's going to come in your life, whether you want it to or not. Sometimes people try and hide from it and run from it, and you really just, at the end of the day, make yourself weaker from that pain, because when it does come, you're not ready for it. But if you train your mind, you train your body to be prepared for it, because it is coming. It comes to everybody. And if you're prepared for it, it's okay. And I swear, one of the most important things when it comes down to being prepared for something, it takes practice. It takes practice to prepare for certain things. That's why I try to value coming up, practicing, and teaching others to practice and be within their own self-awareness as well. Because, just like I say, all people have absolute greatness in them. They can do the most amazing things. And they can do those amazing things before they have to go into just pain by itself. The pain can drive, and some people actually thrive. That's a really important thing, is they thrive within the situation. The situation arises, and not only do they beat it, they overpower it. And that's important for people to know. And I know a lot of times people get asked that question, what would you tell yourself? What would you tell your younger self? And people always have that educated answer, do this, live life this way, do these things. And I thought about it, and if I was to talk to my younger self, and I could tell him something, I would tell him to have faith. No matter what, have faith. Because when you have an undeterred faith, all things can happen. And that's something that I learned at the age of 23, where shit hit the fan, and I was just kind of like, shit. And I said to myself, well, I can either live or I can die. And I chose life. And when you choose that and give yourself that kind of empowering belief system, nothing's going to stop you. You see, the difference between, that's really the difference between the successful and the unsuccessful. Is the successful, they just know it in their soul that it's going to come together. They might not necessarily know how, they might not necessarily know when, but they know it will. And that is the empowerment of faith. And all of the books that I read, it goes over and over and on about how important that is. About Think and Grow Rich really touches on it several times. Having that faith, knowing it's going to be okay. Because we cannot promise how a situation is going to go. It's just the way it goes. And sometimes when we try our best to prepare and map out and control a situation, that's sometimes when situations get out of the most hand. I believe this is why it gets that way, actually. When we feel that we're in control of something and we're not, it becomes erratic. And again, like, a lot of my things go hand in hand because it's the truth. They really do work in tangent. They work together. But like I said, when you control what you can control, you can't control much. But what you can control is empowering too. You can prepare yourself, get ready, do your best, but you can control your faith. And that's probably the most powerful control you can have, and probably the only control you really need. If you have your faith and it's unwavering, and you know things are going to turn out the way that they need to turn out, and life is going to happen the way that it's going to happen, we cannot predict that. But we know we're going to be okay no matter what. As long as we know, no matter what, I know this is going to turn out all right. It's empowering. And so I look at the successful man and the unsuccessful man, and I really do wish the best for the unsuccessful man. Because the truth of the matter is, with the unsuccessful man, they turn out okay too. Because they're alive. They just didn't believe enough. They didn't have enough belief. It's funny, just Evan Carmichael and belief, but it's just like all of these things go hand in hand. They really do. They come full circle of one another. Like, when you do that full circle and you put things together, and it's unwavering, and you know things are going to turn out okay no matter what happens in your life. No matter what life hands you. I get to see so many incredible YouTubers, big and small. It's been a fun journey so far. It's been a blast. And before I got into YouTube, my life's been a blast as well. I've loved every bit of this journey because I get to hear so many stories. Like each individual I meet, it's a new way of exploring life just because I get to see that new story and appreciate that new story. But I think it's important that we also have balance too, because I'm thinking about my wife, and we've been married over 11 years. And so I have new stories and I have old stories, and they're both beautiful at the end of the day. Like, I've been through a lot with that woman, and we've learned, we've grown, we do our best to get stronger every year, because I know some people just kind of sit on their marriage and it ends up dwindling away, and it's unfortunate, and sometimes it's no one else's fault. It's nobody's fault. Like, sometimes people can grow apart, but being self-aware, being conscious, doing right by one another at your very best, and appreciating that new love and appreciating that old love too. Appreciating the many relationships that you can have with people. Like even with my son, and wow, he's growing fast. A little over 2 now, running all over the place, enjoying life to the fullest, and yelling. And now he knows words. I'm actually happy he knows words, because some people say the second they start talking, you wish they would shut up. But I go, my whole thing is embrace the moment, because life is just a series of moments. And the thing with moments, you can't get moments back. Like, once it's gone, it's gone. Then you're under the next moment. So take your time to embrace whatever you need to embrace. And I go back to, when you have the faith, you're gonna have shitty times, great times, okay times, average times, boring times. You're gonna have all of that in your storyboard. It's gonna be everywhere. Even those who live to the extreme of the extreme, you can't maintain that forever. Life is a race, and some people try and sprint it, some people try and walk it, some people are so petrified they don't do anything at all. But I'll tell you this, when you have the right faith, then you'll do the necessary things that you need to do for you. No one can do it your way. No one can quite do it the way that you're going to do it. That's what makes you so special and unique. Each and every one of you. You have your own storyboard. So no one can promise you or dictate how your storyboard is going to play out. Again, like I say, I do my best to guide people into their greatness. Let me tell you, it feels pretty damn good. It feels amazing. Because when you can see it on their expressions. Sometimes you see it through the eyes, sometimes you can see it on their face. It feels amazing. And it's not to say I want people to avoid pain, because you can't. But you can face it. You can face it and look at it and say, I am stronger than the pain that has been put in front of me. I am stronger than it. Say what you need to say. And that's where that empowering feeling of, I'm okay. You know, you think for a second, wow, I'm okay. And so whenever I meet a client who's broken down, and they do get broken down sometimes, I've had some horror cases. Let me tell you, there's been people who were major wrecks, and it's unfortunate. And you got to tear down that base that they've built up, and you got to build a new one. And you'll see them puff up. You'll see them, yeah, I'm somebody. And I'm like, there it is. Now, I'm not gonna lie. Every one of these stories is not a perfect ending, because the thing is, you are a product of what you surround yourself with. There's no in ends or buts about that. Like, you're just going to be. And when a person gets so used to surrounding themselves with certain people for a long extended time, I can only do so much, because I can build you up, but they're just going to tear that base back down and rebuild those thoughts that were already in your head. And honestly, you've had the momentum going that way for so long that you may, I guess I don't have it, and they'll come back. And I'm like, you can do this, and this is why you can do this. And they'll build up again. Yeah, I got this. I got this, baby. And then they go back to their environments. So I gotta tell everybody this. Surround yourself with those who will empower you. Always surround yourself with individuals that will empower you. And everything else will just work itself out from there. But an empowered individual, you can't be stopped. You just can't be. I'll tell you, this journey has been so fun. Such a blast. So many new faces. And I have a feeling I'm going to have a lot of old relationships in this journey too, because I've met so many great people through this community. Like, just awesome individuals. And just listen to Jessica Oakley put out a song. Wow, very impressive. Held it down like I knew she would. And even her boyfriend has all the respect for her in the world, because he goes, how did he put it? He said, she can't sing, she can sing. And let me tell you, this girl can sing. That's the truth. Because she put it down so well. That track was so hot, I had to listen to it a couple more times after that. It's like a 3-minute song, and I'm like, that's what's up. That girl's got talent, and she's impressive. And she actually gave me a hashtag greatness warrior, or no, motivational warrior. Got all the respect and appreciate the hell out of that girl, because she's just so sweet. Loving, sweet family. Love watching her kids. Her with her boyfriend. They're just a really cool group of people. But I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. I've just met so many faces through this journey. Like I said, I just interviewed Evan Carmichael. I got Lily Ma, Alec, Melissa O'Brien. Melissa came from Evan's channel, actually, which was really cool, and she's been one of my #1 supporters from the get. A lot of respect for her. Absolutely appreciate her. And I've met Alexandria, very positive, inspirational person. Tells everybody how they're beautiful souls. I love you, beautiful souls. Lots of energy, that one. And so I put a lot of energy back into her because I respect her. And let me think. Yeah, I've met so many great people through this journey. Even my boy Curtis, JC Flex, Justin Holland. It's just been a fun, ongoing experience of greatness. of people coming together, wanting to see other people succeed. Like, that's the coolest thing about it. All of these faces that I've named, they want to see you succeed. And so, at the end of the day, it comes down to the only person who can do it is you. And the most important thing to have is faith. Empower yourself. Empower yourself into your own greatness. Know that life is not always going to hand you what you wish it was going to. And that's okay. Because you're strong enough to take on whatever task is put in front of you. You've been here today, and you're still standing. And if you're still standing or limping, if you've fallen down, if something bad has happened in your life, if life hasn't handed you everything that you need, it's still okay. Because you have the faith to know that you can't be stopped. You have the faith to know that things are going to work themselves out in the way that they need to work themselves out. You have the faith to believe that you're strong enough to deal with the situation at hand, and you're going to continue to realize and understand and empower and practice on your faith. Because faith is something that needs practice as well. It's hard to have faith when life starts kicking you down. That's a tough thing. But let me tell you, when you have it, you're going to rise. You're going to be empowered. You're going to be unstoppable. Practice your faith. Go into your greatness. Let's see what time this is. Burned 240 calories already. Woohoo! Holding it down. Anyway, if you're still here, much appreciated. Because you've been here for over 22 minutes. And I want to continue to tell you all, every last one of you, go into your faith. No matter what the day is holding for you, breathe into your greatness. Be your best. Go all in. Invest in yourself. Invest in yourself, invest in your greatness, and invest in the faith that you have, that you know things are going to turn out the way that they need to turn out at the end of the day. You guys take care. Have a great day.